Morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 600. Can you believe it? I can't. 600 episodes. It all began when? June, I think, of 2020. And here we are. Started episode 1 just because I needed I needed to talk. Most of my business was being done in the home office during COVID, locked in, nowhere to go. Bought this microphone well before the pandemic. Might as well get some use out of it. Which, by the way, it's just it started to go out a couple weeks ago, and now it's just a prop because I feel more comfortable with a microphone in front of me when I talk. Uncle Rich is with us. Good morning. Dan is with us. What is up, Dan? It's late for you, Dan. A late show for me this morning because I spent most of the day and afternoon into the evening at a friend's house just north of Wrigley Field, about maybe a 20-minute drive. And it was an awesome day. And I'll share some of what my friend Scott has. And he gifted me 2 bags of Cubs stuff that is just awesome stuff. So we'll go through that. We'll share my day. Victor is with us. What is up, Victor? Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, yes, to everyone out there. Well, all the fathers out there. Dan says, newest KBO box is $170 gamble. Hard pass. We'll try to buy the cards I need as singles. There you go. Good morning. What's up, Jenny? So my plan yesterday was I thought Skokie was a little closer. I thought it was like a 2-hour drive. It was actually like 2.5 hours. I didn't realize how close it was to Chicago. So I was going to stop at a couple Walmarts on the way to duck in and duck out. When I got in the car right after Hobby Hotline, about 11 o'clock, I punched the address in and it says estimated time 2 o'clock. And I'm like, 2 o'clock? I thought it was going to be 1 or 1:30. So crap. So I'm just going to go do a straight shot. So I did not pick up any more Bowman U. So I did not stop at any Walmarts on the way there or the way back. So did my shipping yesterday morning and then watched Hobby Hotline and did some shipping along with that and then hit the road. Also, there's a new set, and I think I saw Quinn. I think I saw Kin tweet something about it, and then Herman texted me later about it. So there's a new like Topps exclusive set being sold at stadiums with $149 purchase from the official team store. It's like, oof. Now Topps did something like this with New Era, the hat company, back in 2018. And it wasn't quite. Here's how inflation's hit us. Now you have to spend $150 to get a pack of these cards. Back 3-4 years ago, it was just a measly $30 hat. And so I bought a hat. I went to a game. It was the Cubs and Reds. David Bodie hit a walk-off home run in the 10th inning. It was actually his second walk-off his rookie season. The first was much more eventful. It was a Sunday Night Baseball walk-off grand slam. But this was a couple weeks later. It was a walk-off homer in extra innings. I got a pack, bought a hat for, I don't know, $35, got my pack of Topps New Era cards. And now it's like, so Herman and I were texting last night about this, and I'm like, I really want to go because I haven't been to Wrigley yet. So I do have to get to a game here soon. But it's like, do I want to spend $150 to get these packs? Now I can use the swag. I can use the swag in the team shop. I could use actually my long sleeve, like my light. I don't even know what you call them. It's not really mesh, but it's the long sleeve light fabric. I could use one of those. But it's like, I gotta see what I'm not gonna just spend $150 in the team store, for a pack of cards. How are these pack of cards reselling? Now, if I pull the Seiya Suzuki, pretty cool rookie logo on it, obviously that's staying in my Cubs collection, but all the others, they're up for sale. Now, how do they do on the secondary market? If they sell for 25, $30 a card, then it's like, okay, yeah, it's worth it. But if they sell for like $5, what the new era cards sell for now, of course, it's also been 4 years. We'll see. You've got that premium since it's a new release. So I actually looked this morning to see if there were any listed, because I believe they began, at least it was scheduled to begin selling in at least at Wrigley yesterday. And I'm like, man, when I looked at the map, I'm like, I'm pretty close to Wrigley. I should pop down to the team store and get a pack of these cards. So yeah, I'm gonna monitor that and see what they pop up for. And of course, at release, they're gonna be in high demand. They're gonna sell for a lot more. But then as time goes on, they're gonna drop in price. And if it's August before I would get a pack, who knows where the secondary market on those singles are. So we'll see. But I do need to plan a Wrigley trip. Jenny was at a card show yesterday, bought every pink Bowman U I found in a $1 box. I bought way too much. Hey, I don't know if that's a good, actually, I don't know if that's a good thing. If they're being oversaturated in dollar boxes, maybe I've just got a bunch of 91 Fleer behind me. So hopefully it's not just massively produced. It's come to the point where it's like I'm stocking up and I want to find Bowman U blaster boxes, but at the same time, it's like I don't want them to be restocking them every single week. That would be bad. So it's actually when I went to, when I bat 2 for 4 on my Walmart runs, Target runs, and 2 stores have them, 2 stores don't. It's like, okay, good. They didn't restock Bowman U football. And I have a feeling, with Bowman, historically, it's really not a restocked. It's not like, look, can you find Bowman? Can you go to Target or Walmart right now? It's been out for a month. Can you find Bowman blasters? Probably not. And that's usually the case. It's like usually there's 1 or 2 restocks and boom, that's it. Poof, they're gone. And they're hard to find, especially by the end of the year. It's like, man, I wish I would have bought more blasters. The thing is, I can buy a bunch of Bowman blasters, but I can't save them. Like Bowman U football, I'll save those for football season. But Bowman baseball, it's like I want to rip now, because there's really not much with Bowman baseball. There's not much. The only thing that changes in the short term, Bowman comes out in April. By June, it's all the singles prices are down. There's not really any players that their value, bumps up too much in 2 or 3 months. So it's almost like either you rip right away or you save it for rip right away or save for a rainy day. That's Bowman baseball. That's my motto for Bowman baseball. Rip today or save for a rip right away or save for a rainy day. TD Sports Cards, what's up? Good morning to you. Rich says, I was also at a card show yesterday and bought a bunch of baseball blasters for $15 to $20 and a big league box for $35. That sounds like a heck of a deal. Nice to see normality. Now, yes, some of the blasters were higher priced, but baseball seemed all normal. And I think that's the case outside of, your Bowman and your Bowman mega boxes. Those are probably the only products that are, and that is normal. Like going back to 2020 and beyond, blasters, the only thing people chased as far as baseball was basically Bowman mega. Like even Bowman blasters, I could go have my run of the mill for the first couple of weeks that Bowman baseball was released. And then and then some kind of spiked. If you're fairly new to the hobby within the last, 3 years now, 2 years, you would be shocked at this next comment. Topps Fire and Bowman Platinum People were clearing shelves for that, and you could not find those on shelves in 2017, 2018. I mean, clearing shelves was not just a pandemic thing. This happened, before the pandemic, going back to 2006. I think it was 2016 Bowman Platinum. That's when it was just on fire. And then Topps Fire, people were clearing shelves. They had you get an autograph in these boxes. And now it's like, they're sitting on shelves and nobody wants them. Jenny says, no, I bought way too much overall, not of Bowman. Just in general, my eBay going to be fire this week. That's awesome. And that's kind of what it's like when I don't I was getting the itch yesterday morning as I was packing away. By the way, I've got an eBay. Before I talk about my day yesterday, talk about eBay a little bit. It's like, man, I'm getting the itch to go dig through dollar boxes. So maybe I'll do a Freeport card shop trip. I'll probably want to do it. So I'm sure he was set up with his bargain boxes at the Chicago Spectacular this weekend, and he'll be at the National. I'm sure of. So it's like I've got to time it right where I want to get there before the National, but give it a little time to where he might get restocked for the National, and then hit up those 50-cent boxes in his card shop in Freeport. Speaking of eBay, though. I noticed yesterday, I'm gonna bring my eBay up here. My computer's doing some really funky stuff. It's showing, like, when I type in the address bar, it brings up colors. I can take a picture and tweet it, but it's really weird. It reminds me of like Nintendo when like it got all funky and like weird colors came up, and I've never seen this with a computer, so that's kind of freaking me out here. So my sales, wow, my sales. Friday and Saturday is just garbage. We're talking, let's see, what's my average? About 40%. Friday and Saturday, about 40% of my average daily sales. And I noticed that yesterday morning as I looked, and it's like, wow, my Friday sales were way off. Now, my Wednesday and Thursday sales were great. Were about twice as good as normal. And then Friday was about 50%. So, like, way off what I was doing Wednesday and Thursday. And then Saturday wasn't much better. And this is actually the first time I'm looking, and Saturday was just a tick better than Friday. My buddy Frank on Twitter reached out via private message on Twitter last night. And he's like, hey, are your eBay sales like absolute crap? And I said, yes, they actually are. And then I saw my buddy Paul, who he sets up at my Madison Card Show, which, by the way, the next Madison Card Show next Saturday, 6 days away. Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., free admission. 120 tables, so looking forward to that. So Paul said the same thing. He tweeted out and said, anybody else's eBay sales just absolute garbage. And it hit like all of it. It was Friday. It's almost like eBay decided we're going to take the weekend off. That's how it was. Wednesday, Thursday, and I know some people are saying, well, it's June. This is typical. This isn't typical. When you're averaging 75 sales per day, and then you go to 20 sales the next day and 25 sales the next, that's off. There's something going. And when multiple people are saying the same thing, it's not just people aren't buying on eBay. You don't just turn the faucet off in overnight. There's something weird going on. And it may not be hitting everybody. But I think the volume sellers that I know of, I'm curious, Jenny, what your sales did Friday and Saturday, for volume sellers. So some of the volume sellers that have talked about have seen this weird dip over the weekend. What's up, Boom Slang in the house? Good morning to you. Victor says, I made a last-second decision yesterday to not go to the Chicago Spectacular. Fighting through construction traffic and wasting half a tank of gas did not appeal to me. Have you heard anything about it? Yes. So I have been calling it the Chicago Unspectacular the last few shows. Um, Now these off this I basically call this show the off-season show because it's not the Chicago Sports Spectacular. March and November are like the big shows, and it's really catered to autographs and memorabilia. It's not really a card-centric show. Um, but there's actually a couple threads on the Blowout forums, and take that with a grain of salt. Um, but let's see. Somebody was mentioning let's see. This is in the card show area. And yeah, my buddy John posted, I attended the Chicago Sports Unspectacular today. I got in just after 1 p.m. I paid the $25 for the Thursday sneak peek one-day pass. I saw a lot of empty tables. The show was not very impressive. I had to pay $15 to park, and the walk is long if you have heavy boxes to wheel in and out. I bought some cards. There was a couple from Wisconsin who had some very good dollar boxes. Those boxes were cherry-picked today. The show was not crowded. Their summer show is never as good as their fall and spring shows. I'm sure a number of dealers may be setting up at the 300 table show in Fishers, Indiana, instead of Rosemont, which it sounds like that Indiana show was much better than Chicago, which I'm not surprised because the Chicago off-season shows are just not good. So that was actually putting it pretty nicely, talking about the Chicago Spectacular that was this weekend, which another big show, that Indy show in Fishers, was also this weekend. Had more tables and it was more card-centric. So a little more harsh was in the Blowout Baseball forums. The title of the thread, Chicago Show Officially Sucks. So take that for what it's worth. And you can go to the Blowout forums, and I'll just copy and paste that thread. So there you can read all about it. You don't have to listen to me read posts, but yeah, it was unspectacular from I don't think I heard a good review actually in those posts. Let's see. Terry, good morning. What's up, Terry? Boom Slang, hit that thumbs up. Thank you very much, Boom Slang. Like the channel if you are subscribed to the channel. If you have not already subscribed, hit that like button. Where are we at in the chat? Jenny says, Victor, depending on your buying style, I'd say that's a great decision. I've heard it's a lot of the autos in person there. Some dealers are not even going to set up, but at a different show. Whiteout in Madison today. Yes, I've got Dan's hoodie on. I've got my Under Armour hat on. Let's see. Jenny says, keep in mind it was Saturday and you and Paul are typically set up at shows, so you don't have newly listed ending soonest on those days. But mine, it started Friday. Saturday, I will say my Saturday sales yesterday were on par with my typical Saturday sales. My Friday was way off. My Friday sales were way off. And I'm gonna let's just check my last few Friday numbers, going back over the last month. So my last Saturday, when I was set up at the Rockford show, I had an amazing Saturday in comparison to other Saturdays. So June 17th sale, like my worst sales day in 2 or 3 months. So Friday, June 10th. So let's go to June 10th. Oh yeah. So my Friday this past Friday was 40% of June 10th. Where's June 3rd? I had a really good sales day on June 3rd. Friday, June 3rd, I did over 5 times what I did this past Friday. Friday, May 27th actually was a real crappy day. Friday, May 27th was slightly above what I did this past Friday. And then May 20th, this past Friday, I was at about 70% of where I was on May 20th. So overall, I was probably at 50% of my typical Friday sales. Let's see. You did say Monday through Wednesday is your big listing days. Thursday and Friday were bad. I had a great Thursday. I had a terrible, terrible Friday. Zach and Porter, good morning. Porter and I say congrats on 600. I don't think we were at your first, but I predict we bought our subscription within the first 25. Good thing the script is grandfathered. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. SCA Sports Cards, what's up? Good morning. Saturday picked up a little. My Saturday sales were just a tick above. Not much, but just a tick above. John says it should be fun, Victor. If it's too much of a hassle, then sometimes staying away is best. Let's see. Where are we at? Oh, Dan says, for some reason, I never noticed the hoodie until you mention it. Well, it's kind of like hidden. It's kind of hidden. It's just, it looks like a white hoodie and then boom. And then I flash you. Terry says, I just passed 550 eBay listings, but I didn't sell anything Friday and yesterday besides Football Prism I just listed. Interesting. Jenny says, I'm predicting a fire sale Friday. I have to head out. See y'all tomorrow morning. Busy day. Thank you, Jenny. Oh, how was your 1,000 new listings challenge last week? This week, I challenge you to 1,200. I think I may have hit 1,000. I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and look. I was pretty close. I know I was close to 900 at least. I may have hit 1,000. And I was breaking it up. So I was doing like 120, like I'd do an hour and then I'd come down and ship, and then I'd do an hour, come down and ship. And I'd usually do like 2 bursts of 100. And then I listed some on the couch. So, and I think a couple days, like early in the week, I'm a little more, because typically I ship more on the weekends and then I list more during the week. That's kind of how it goes. Unless it's a card show Saturday. Cooter, what's up? Good morning and happy Father's Day. So yesterday I went to my buddy Scott's house, worked for the Cubs, and he's a collector. Now we met on Twitter, and he came up to the Madison card, like I think my very first Madison card show last April. And he's come up a few times. He's a collector, and he's always said, I've got to get you over, I want to sell some stuff on eBay, and I've got a lot of stuff. And a lot of stuff is subjective when you say that. So I just like, yeah, he's probably got, a couple shelves full of stuff. Little did I know, he is very similar. Scott and I are very similar in that we are not only collectors, but we are hoarders. And we keep everything. And this room in here looks really super organized compared to the door he opened and the boxes upon boxes upon boxes of really awesome stuff. John says, so what's plan B for all those BU boxes behind you? I don't know. So I say that's a really poor business answer right there. What are you going to do with those? You've got almost $1,000 invested in Bowman U blaster boxes. You don't know what you're going to do with them. No. So I'm going to hold them until fall. I've opened a few. And some of the singles that I do open, if they've been drafted, I'm going to sell them because they're going to have NFL football cards come out. So I think the market softens on those cards. But the players that are actually still in college, I'm just going to sit on those singles. I'm going to sit on the sealed blasters until August, September. We'll see what the market does. It may be really good. It may be bad. So I'm just going to wait and see. So I'm patient, and I'll give it 3 months. And then at the best, I'll flip some of the blasters. I'll rip some singles and start listing the singles. And that's probably what I'll do. He's in the boom slang territory. Yes. So, if you look at the thumbnail, there's one of the photos that I used is I'm like, he opens that door and I'm like, holy shit, I've got to take a picture of this and send to my wife. And he's like, oh, yeah, using me to make you look good. It's like, yes, because every other person that I know takes pictures of my basement and sends it to their wives, girlfriends, significant others. and 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 uses like, hey, at least at least you're not Bo's wife. So at least I can, and my wife's like, oh my God, I could have a field day because she loves to organize. And so yeah, open that, and it's just, there's like a little path, like you could walk about 6 feet in, and then it's just boxes of awesome stuff. I'm enjoying the ride with you. I hope you hit it out of the park with the U, goat or genius. We will know in 3 months, right? So so we go down, and he's like, well, let's just grab a box. So he grabs a random box, and well, actually, the first things we looked at, he had a binder of 1962 Topps baseball. And so I'm like, holy, there's can be some good cards. And I think Gaylord Perry did Gaylord Perry have 2 rookie cards? I think did he have the 62 on his own, in like the floating head with 3 other players in 63? I can't remember. But there were some the Lou Brock rookie was in there, really off-centered, which most of them are, the 62 Lou Brock rookies for Perry. Thank you, Rich. The Mickey Mantle All-Star card, I don't think he had the base the base. They're all base. I don't think he had the regular version, but he had the All-Star version, which was like my first vintage card. My brother, here's a story about Mickey Mantle. When I was Can you believe this about me, that I didn't keep my room clean as a kid? Does that shock you or surprise you at any at any point? So my room was an absolute disaster all through childhood. My parents could not get me to clean my room. So eventually I got into baseball cards, and my older brother, was a collector, kind of how I got into it. And he was significant. He was 19 years older than me. And so he bribed me that if I kept my room clean for like 2 weeks, he would give me a 1962 Topps All-Star Mickey Mantle card. And damn, I did it for 2 weeks, and I think when he handed over that Mickey Mantle card, I think the room became a disaster the next day. So that's a really cool card. And and so here's what happened to that Mickey Mantle card. So my brother gives it to me. I'm probably, 9 years old, and I go off and on into collecting, and it really became like, it's a cool card. It's Mickey Mantle. I was in and out of collecting. I go to college. I get into credit card debt, kind of like what a lot of college kids do. So I have this credit card balance that I start paying off with all of these. I did a lot of buying and selling when I was in high school on eBay. And it's like, I'm just going to sell off all my collection. So this is probably like 2003, 2004. And I sold my Mickey Mantle All-Star that my brother gave me on eBay to pay off some credit card debt. So that's what happened. So that card always like, oh man, that was like my very first real vintage card. So he's got this binder of 62 Topps baseball. I'm at my buddy Scott's house in his basement. It's like it's a disaster, unorganized museum, which I like because every box is a surprise. And I like that. It's like, I don't like carefully curated boxes. Like, oh, there's the I want to open surprises. Like, ooh, every box is a surprise. So, and then he has like a stack of binder pages, all cards from the 60s. These were his like childhood cards. There's a page with 5 1969 Topps Hank Aaron's. There's a page with a bunch of Roberto Clementes. There's a page with 3 second-year Nolan Ryan cards. There's a page with a couple of Johnny Bench rookie cards, Tom Seaver. I mean, it's like, there's some really good stuff here. Now, they're not in the best condition. And he goes, some of them have red marks on the back. So he had a brother. They're around the same age. So to differentiate their collections, one of the brothers put a red pen mark underneath the number. So that was their card. And the other's blank. And I'm like, I got to ask, who put the red mark? And he's like, that was me. And I'm like, well, your brother's smarter. Your brother's smarter than you were. So some of the cards have a little red ink mark right beneath the number. I will say, though, at least he was smart that he didn't like write his name on the front of the card or, you know, somewhere on the front of the card. It's just very small little mark. So that was smart. John says the Perry thing would be a big deal today as the Raymond card. Yeah, totally. Joe Card Legends, good morning and happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. I will second that. Damn, you went all in on that Bowman UIC. I sure did. I love it. Dan's going to bed. Good night to Dan. Dan's in Korea, by the way. That's why he's going to bed, for those not familiar. So that was the start. That was that's not even scratching the surface to what he has all hidden away in his basement. I was there 5 hours. We were in looking through boxes for 5 hours, and I could have done it for another 50. It's like, it's 7:00. It's a 3-hour drive. I got to get home, but man, I want to keep digging through these boxes. So he pulls out another box, and now there's a 69 Topps Pete Rose PSA 7. He's got high grade cards. And so he pulled out he had bought a blaster box of Topps Heritage High number. And I'm like, okay, there's not much in here, but there could be a Vlad Jr. rookie. There could be a Fernando Tatis Jr. rookie. And he's like, how much are they? I'm like, $10, $5 to $10. And he's like, oh, I don't want to hear that. So, and he actually had both of them. I'm like, well, the other cards are 25-cent cards, so you're good here. Pulled out, and I'm like, so I looked up. I'm like, this Pete Rose is $150 to $200. So you've got some good stuff. 70s cards, like high grade, 70 Topps, 71 Topps in high grades, like amazing stuff. Let's see here. So that in multiple boxes of like just stacks of PSA slabs. I'm like, where did you get all these? 70 Topps Reggie Jackson. Just amazing stuff. Jake Gibbs is another one who had multiple rookies. Frank Bork. Who was the player? Was Lou Piniella? Did he have 3 rookie cards? I think Lou Piniella had 3. John K. Ears just perked up with the 70s note. Yeah, so I should have taken more pictures of some of the slabs he had, but I did take some pictures. I'll tweet some other stuff out today. So we go through some of the cards. Now he brings out another box, and it's like first day issue stamps, which I have no idea. I don't do stamps. He loved stamps. And so he's like, I haven't seen these in decades because they've been hidden away in a box. So he's all excited about these stamps, while at the same time he had in the same box there was like some of his personnel files from the Cubs. We're talking like internal memos on players from spring training 1998, including what are we going to do with Kerry Wood? This is Kerry Wood's rookie year. This is March before the season starts, and they're like, and this is like basically the breakdown from a staff meeting on what are they going to do with pitchers. And so Scott's all excited about these stamps, and I'm like, I don't care about the stamps. Look at this. This is, and he's like, yeah, I was there. Talking about Kerry Wood, are they going to bring him up to the big league club this year in 1998? Then he found his old draft notes. He worked in scouting, and I posted a picture. I don't know if I tweeted out this photo. I don't think I did. So there was one. I've got the photo. He had 1984, like their draft package, and then it was like 89 and like 93, I think. But I was really curious about. It was 89. So that was the year they took my guy Earl Cunningham. And it was the Chicago Cubs 1989 final draft list. So this is the Cubs big board from 1989. Number 1 on the big board for the Cubs, Ben McDonald, of course, Baltimore Orioles. I think he went number 1 overall to Baltimore. Number 2 on the big board was Tyler Houston, the catcher, who was drafted by the Braves. He ended up playing for the Cubs for a little bit. Number 3 on the draft board, this is from 1989. This is the guy they picked, Earl Cunningham, out of Lancaster High School in South Carolina. Now there's some familiar names, but they're way down on the list. There's a couple names that really pop out. This is the Cubs big board 1989 draft. Number 11, Scott Burrell, a right-handed pitcher who went on to NBA fame. Scott Burrell played at, I think, UConn and then the Hornets, played for the Bulls. Number 18, all the way down at number 18, Frank Thomas. Frank Thomas was number 18 on the Chicago Cubs big board in 1989. And then 1984, there was, and he was kind of explaining, it was Greg Maddux was on here. And so there's all these numbers, and it has the scouting breakdown, like each of the scouts. So let's see, where am I at with Maddux? So it has the scout Davis saw Maddux pitch one time, and then below that number, because there's a number of times they've seen him, and then how much they would offer him in bonus. So Davis was going to offer, he saw Maddux one time, he was going to offer him $60,000 as a bonus. V.D. Himsel was the senior cross-checker. So he was going to offer Maddux, he suggested $65,000 signing bonus. Handley saw Greg Maddux twice. He would offer $70,000. Spider Jorgensen saw him once. He would offer $80,000. And the local scout out west was Mapson, and he's credited with signing Greg Maddux. He saw him 4 times, and he would offer $85,000. So I asked Scott, I'm like, who was Mapson? He's like, well, that's the guy that saw him the most, and he was credited with signing Greg Maddux. And I'm like, well, he was the smart one. He was going to offer him the most money. I don't know if that's smart, but he thought he saw more value dollar sign wise than the other scouts that watched Greg Maddux. So those are some of the things, like, that's what I geeked out over the most. Like the PSA slabs, like, yeah, cool. This is fun. These are cool cards, but I like these internal memos, the scouting reports. That's what I think is cool. Those were cool. Let's see, talking about Piniella, Boomslang is bindering a 1971 set. Very cool. John says still 2,700 less rookies than Wander. That's very true. Bindering 71s has to be the more stressful than brain surgery. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Joe Card Legend says insider info for sure. That's some cool info. Did he give them to you? No, but I do have some really cool things that I do have. Let's see. Cooter says that's what the Sharpie is for. Bo, that's what the Sharpie is for. I love it. I have some hiccups this morning. Zach and Porter says decent pick for the White Sox. He turned out okay, that Frank guy. John says I had a dealer not sell me a 71 Baylor because it was Sharpie. Very kind of her to notice. Wow. Jim Thome, 13th round in 1989. Jeff Kent, 20th round. Oh, another cool story. 1984. Drew Hall, and I got to look at the 1984 draft. So Drew Hall was number 1 on the Cubs big board in 1984, but the Cubs didn't think he would be available. I want to see where the how this all came down in 1984. Picks by year and round. This is fascinating to me because I love the baseball draft, and I'm excited. We're still a month away. They moved it back to July. It's less rounds now, so I'm bummed about that. Okay, so the 1984 draft, the New York Mets were first. Seattle Mariners picked second. Chicago Cubs picked third in the June 1984 draft. So I think Sean Abner was he was the de facto. He's going to go number 1 overall. The Mets are going to take Sean Abner, no doubt about it. The question mark was that number 2 pick with the Seattle Mariners. So the Cubs had the number 3 pick, and they thought for sure that the Cubs thought for sure that Seattle was going to take Drew Hall, and Drew Hall was stud pitcher out of, where'd he go? Morehead State. I thought he went to Texas. Morehead State. So the Cubs were certain that Seattle would take Drew Hall with the number 2 overall pick. So number 2 on the Cubs big board in 1984 was Eric Pappas. Pappas was a catcher, and he was from Chicago. He went to Mount Carmel High School. So get this story. So in 1984, the Cubs are sure the Mariners are going to take Drew Hall with the 2nd overall pick. So the Cubs are going to take Eric Pappas, a local kid. So they have this kind of local thing on the day of the draft. Now in 1984, it's basically it's all phone calls. There's no radio coverage, TV coverage, anything like that with the baseball draft. So the Cubs invite Eric Pappas and family to Wrigley Field the day of the draft because we're going to take you we're going to take you with the 3rd overall pick. Guess what? It comes down, they're hosting the Pappas family, and Cubs get wind. Seattle's taking Bill Swift. Seattle's not taking Drew Hall with the 2nd pick. We've got to take Drew. We're taking Drew Hall with the 3rd overall pick. And Eric Pappas and his family are here, and they think we're picking him. Uh-oh. So they gave him we got to keep him occupied. And comes down to it. Cubs have to give them the bad news. They showed him this is our big board. We had Drew Hall, ahead of you on our big board. Seattle's not going to take Drew Hall. So we've got to take Drew Hall with the number 3 overall pick. Ooh, that's a fascinating story to me. So the Cubs take Drew Hall with the number 3 overall pick. Pappas slides to number 6, and he goes to the California Angels. And Eric Pappas would eventually come back to the Cubs, I think in 90 or 91. Eric Pappas spent a little bit of time with the Chicago Cubs. And I think, what's the career WAR? I'm pretty sure Drew Hall had a better WAR. Oh, maybe not. Horse apiece. Drew Hall's major league WAR was minus 1.4. Eric Pappas was 0.4. But let's see. Drew Hall let's see if he had a positive WAR with the Cubs. Let's see. Player value WAR. This is Baseball Reference WAR. Let's see. 86, 87, 88. His WAR with the Cubs was minus 1.3. So yeah, he actually had a positive WAR when he went to Texas. So it was kind of, let's see. Where are we at here? Earl Cunningham is where? Earl Cunningham, he's still in South Carolina. I think he's a painter in South Carolina. Still back in his home area. He doesn't sign through the mail. Very low key. Did an interview with Baseball America about 3 or 4 years ago, which is like the first on record interview I've seen with him since he was a player. So yeah, he really keeps out of the eye. And hopefully he knows that there's a super fan. I actually sent him a letter and shared my story of how big of a fan I was of his, and he never responded. And I've actually I found like the company he works for. I sent a letter to the company, the addresses that are online. No dice. But I was always looking for the 90 score Earl Cunningham autographed in blue Sharpie, which was like my first autograph as a kid when he signed at the Knights of Columbus Hall at a card show in Kewanee, Illinois, when he was playing for the Peoria Chiefs. And I found somebody led me to an eBay listing, and I got him for like $10 a card. I actually shared that story with my buddy Tom from Real Breaks, and he's like, "You paid $10 for an Earl Cunningham autograph?" I'm like, "Actually, I paid $20 for 2 Earl Cunningham autographs." Jack McDowell, 20th round in 1984. Both Glavine and Maddox, second rounders that year. It's called stalking. A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Nah, not really. I didn't drive down to South Carolina and like camp out across the street. So yeah, just an amazing collection. I can't wait to get back and dig through some more. I'll have to time it better now that I know I have to leave in the morning so we can spend a day, have a couple beers, and get Scott selling on eBay. He's probably sitting in his recliner with a fifth of scotch listening to Springsteen's Glory Days over and over again. So let's talk about Glory Days. So Scott gifted me with like 2 bags of swag. So this is some cool stuff. I know Cubs fans may appreciate it. Nerds, huge baseball nerds like me, love it. So let's see. So first he's like, "What size are you?" So he starts giving me all these T-shirts. So this is the Hohokams softball, Hohokam Park in Mesa, Arizona. Another T-shirt. This was like a stadium giveaway, StubHub Day. Welcome to the friendly confines. Can never have enough T-shirts, right? Okay, here's some cool stuff. Look at this. Gamer. Vintage gamer. This is like my favorite Cubs uniform. Number 48. So I think this, we had to look up the year and everything. We're pretty sure this is Jay Baller. I actually learned how to pronounce his name correctly. So this, you may know Jay Baller from the 1988 Topps, where he looks like a baller. He's got the perm, the mustache, the hair chest popping out with his gold necklace. Jay Baller. So this is a Jay Baller. It's actually pronounced Baller, I learned. Game used Cubs jersey. Hopefully a Keith Moreland jockstrap is coming, or a Lee Elia smoking jacket. Speaking of cool things like that, so some other cool things. So he was in tight with Yosh Kawano, who was the clubhouse manager for decades, like 50 years. He has Yosh Kawano's briefcase with a bunch of like stuff from Yosh, like the Cubs game used inventory list from like the 80s. Let's see. So he has Scott likes cowboy hats. So he has a cowboy hat like case. And he pulls out a black cowboy hat. He's like, "This was Ron Santos' cowboy hat." I'm like, holy crap, that's cool. His son, Scott wears cowboy hats. Ron Santos' son knew that. So he's like, want to give this to you. This is my dad's cowboy hat. That's super cool. Another gamer. This is the Charlotte Knights. This is from 1992. Charlotte actually hosted the All-Star game, the AA All-Star game that year. It's got the patch on it. Now, I looked up, this is number 10. And I was looking up, it's hard to find minor league rosters with jersey numbers. So I look at I look at the minor league set from that year. Steve Traxel wore number 10 for Charlotte. So that could be Steve Traxel's game used jersey from AA. Bo is describing Will Ferrell in semi-pro. Ron Santo wasn't very popular when he moved to the South Side, the story goes. That was just, that was heartbreak for Cubs fans. So he gives me a bunch of this stuff. And how about this? A duffel bag from the 1985 winter meetings. Let's see. So here's some cool stuff. So this 2003 National League Championship Series post-game parties, Game 6 and Game 7, unused tickets. Wasn't much partying going on over at Goose Island, which I loved Goose Island across the street from Wrigley. I listened to a Dave Matthews Band concert from the patio at Goose Island. And now Goose Island is no longer there in Wrigleyville, across from Wrigley Field. But Game 6, that was the Bartman game. Game 7, of course, they lost to the Marlins, and World Series hopes were crushed. 2003, unused tickets to the post-game celebration. Happier times in Game 1 and Game 2, also unused though. This was at a different place. This was at John Barleycorn, block south on Clark Street. So I mentioned Yosh Kawano, longtime clubhouse manager. This is an invitation to Yosh for the 80th birthday party of Ernie Banks. How about this? Ernie Banks's 80th birthday party invitation. Very cool. Harry Carey's restaurant. And then it's got, in lieu of gifts, donations can be made to Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, Chicago Cubs Charities. So a block of rooms was made at the Weston River North. The party was at Harry Carey's. So that was like that. This is like, I just totally nerd out on stuff like this. Like the PSA 7 Pete Rose and the stack of 60s and 70s cards. Cool stuff. But this is the stuff that I geek out over. Here's a pregame ownership hospitality invite for the divisional series in 2003 at Turner Field in Atlanta between the Cubs and Braves. Guess who won that? Guess who won that series, Herman? That was a happy series. NLCS not so happy. So what else? This is the 1985 Winter Meetings bag. A 1988 Geneva Cubs team set. So I've got to get that counted into the Cubs count. He had about 100 of these. He's like, here, take a couple. Take a couple more. So this is the Hall of Fame induction of Rhino with Wade Boggs. Let's see. So I'm a big Ray Burris fan. So here's a newspaper, Tribune, from April 14th, 1978. My guy, Ray Burris, with Cubs manager Herman Franks. It's got some awesome color photos down here. Willie Hernandez. Who else? Doug Rader, Bobby Mercer, Dennis Lamp. From 1978. Let's see. Here's he had a bunch of these, and I gotta find. He didn't know what year these were made, but it's Wrigley Field, home of the Chicago Cubs. The marquee that says World Series, but these weren't from 2016. He wasn't sure where these. Oh, you're right. Yes, Diego would like that, and Mark. Yes, I will gift those because I don't need 12 of them. So World Series, Wrigley, wasn't sure what year those were. So these are pretty cool. These were quarters, and they're actually painted these are actual real quarters that were painted with the players. So Aramis Ramirez. I've never seen these before. Dusty Baker. My guy, Corey Patterson. I was a big Corey Patterson fan. Nomar Garciaparra. So that's some of the stuff. Oh, but wait, there's more. Another gamer. So this is the pants. So these are throwbacks from 2014, and I love the baby blues. I love these jerseys. This was Nate Shearholtz. And it's got the hologram on the back. MLB authenticated. Love that. If that fits, I might actually wear that. Let's see. John asks a great question. So do those quarters count as 1 million cards? Well, they don't count as 1 million, but they will count towards 1 million. I think so. Because I count the Topps coins. So I'll count those coins. Let's see. I'm going to go to the chat real quick. I've got a couple more things, I think. Yes, I got a few more things in there. My childhood collecting buddy actually has a Moreland jockstrap. He lifted from the Oklahoma City 89er locker room before Moreland was called up. True story. That is amazing. That is amazing. Moreland was a catcher back then, I think. Yep, he was a catcher. He followed Bill In. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, behind the OKC plate. Great swag, absolutely. Love the powder blues, my favorites. So what else do we have? At the Cubs team Christmas party, the office Christmas party for the Cubs, they were gifted with ornaments. This was from the 2000. So this was my wife and I actually, like, when we go on vacations and stuff, that's kind of one of the things we pick up is Christmas tree ornaments. And my wife's Jewish. Tops Now. So he's like, I don't even know why I bought these. So this is from the NLCS in probably, oh wow, this is 2016. So this is the 2016 on the way to the World Series. I don't even know what all cards are in here. I didn't buy many Tops Now cards. Usually just the play. I bought some Saya Suzuki's this year. I used to buy some random Javier Baez because I love Javi. Anthony Rizzo, Javi, and John Lester. So there's a new Javi for my collection, and then KB. So more Cubs to add to the collection. Let's see. This is my first E-Tops card. So I was not really collecting in 2003. This is a 2003 E-Tops Mark Pryor. I may have some like received in trades. But that's my first Mark Pryor E-Top, my first E-Tops that I can think of. On the next episode of Hoarders, would you trade all of that U for a Cap Anson card? I would absolutely trade all of that Bowman U football for an original Cap Anson card, because that's actually, that's pretty sad. I could probably buy a Cap Anson with what now the thing is, if I bought a Cap Anson card, it's a collectible. It's in my own collection, where that stuff I'm actually going to turn and sell. But Cap Ansons actually have gone up quite a bit here. It's been a while since I've looked at a Cap Anson. I always go highest because that weeds out all the reprints and oh wow, there's not too many on eBay right now. So the lowest priced original Cap Anson is a raw, and that's the one that I've been watching forever. It's $2,700. So I've got to buy a whole bunch more Bowman U to trade it for a Cap Anson. I hope this question keeps you up tonight. So this would not equal a Cap Anson. This is where they stayed. This is like a bag tag. I think that just happened to be in the bag. Since I'm a Ray Burris fan, he gifted me a slab, a PSA 8, 79 Tops Ray Burris. Here's the all-time century team. I think this was a stadium giveaway. Lee Smith on the front, Frank Chance on the back. Must be maybe 10 or 12 cards in that set. Here's another quarter. Here's the Mark Pryor. This is a card I did not have. This is Ron Santos jersey retirement card. So that's a new card for the collection. I also did not have the Ryan Sandberg jersey retirement card. So there's Rhino. Not sure what this is. This is a keychain. It's a very heavy keychain. It's the Gatorade Windy City Classic, White Sox and Cubs. This game was played at Comiskey, 1987, May 18th. Let's see. This is cool. And see, this is the type of stuff that I love. This is a parking pass. This is a Cubs parking pass from 2008. Parking permit 2008. Couple more things, and actually there's he gave me a bunch of cards too. So this is a 1 troy ounce silver coin of Billy Williams from 1991. So that's pretty cool. How about this 1990 pin I was there on opening night. Huntington Cubs, 1990. And a Iowa Cubs team set. I think this is 2000. Yep, 2000 Iowa Cubs team set. There's actually, he gave me a bunch of minor league Cubs hats, Winston-Salem Spirits, Charlotte Knights, Huntington Cubs, Peoria Chiefs, which is like a vintage PC hat, which is awesome. And then a bunch of, there was like a book of Huntington Cubs cards with some ticket stubs, a box of Cubs. So more, even more stuff. So just an awesome day. So thank you, Scott, for having me over, going through the awesome collection, and we'll help him maybe get organized. I don't know if I'm the best person to help getting organized, but I can definitely help get some of this stuff listed on eBay. So a fun day, awesome stuff, great stories, had a lot of fun, and look forward to another trip. So that was my day on Saturday. I think I may go for a bike ride today. May go out. Looks like it's going to be a nice day. I'm gonna hunker down in the basement here in the next couple hours, do some shipping, and then take to the road, get some miles in on the bicycle on a beautiful Sunday. So thank you for tuning in. Hit the like button if you liked this content, and if you didn't like this content, hit the like button anyway. Do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. Back on tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Central. So until then, have a great Sunday, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.